This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to your weekly dose of the Accountology Show. I'm your host and chartered accountant, Nicole Hay, with an insatiable curiosity for uncovering accounting ideas to help businesses grow. I have so many nuggets of gold to share. Are you ready to make your good business great? Let's get stuck right in. Hey, it's your host Nicole Haig, and welcome to another episode of the Accountology Show. In accounting news, from the 1st of July 2024, the Bright Line property rules are changing. The Bright Line test is a way of assessing whether tax is payable on any profit made on the sale of a residential property in New Zealand. These changes would legislate some of the key promises made by the government during the election campaign in relation to all types of buildings. Currently, properties purchased between the 29th of March 2018 and the 27th of March 2021 have a Bright Line period of 5 years. And properties purchased after the 27th of March 2021 have a Bright Line period of 10 years. New home builds have a Bright Line period of 5 years. Residential property disposals from the 1st of July this year onwards will be subject to a 2-year Bright Line test. Generally, this means any residential property that is the subject of a binding contract for sale entered into on or after the 1st of July 2024 will not have any tax on the profit if the property were held for more than 2 years. Properties purchased before the 1st of July 2022 will no longer be subject to the Bright Line test because as at the 1st of July 2024, all sales on those properties will have occurred after at least 2 years. Please note, however, if the property is taxable on sale under other rules, such as property dealers, developers and builders, those tax rules will still apply. Exceptions for main homes, separation or relationship property transfers, some transfers to trusts and receiving a property via an estate will remain in place. There has also been an extension to the rollover relief rules. The rollover relief is a tax concession that means a residential property can be transferred from one entity to another within a family group without triggering tax to pay under the Bright Line rules and without triggering a resetting of the Bright Line clock. The expansion of the rollover relief with respect to the Bright Line test is particularly welcoming. There have been too many scenarios where normal family transactions have been subject to the Bright Line test, resulting in an unfair tax bill. A good example of this has been parents who have helped their children into their first home. It is planned to extend rollover relief to cover all transfers between most associated persons, provided they have been associated for at least 2 years prior to the transfer, or a transfer to a trust where all beneficiaries are persons who have been associated with the transfer or for at least 2 years, with exceptions for infants, recent marriages and adoptions and charities. This should make restructuring family affairs much easier, as well as making it easier for parents to help their children into a home. Rollover relief under these rules will only be available once in any 2-year period. As always, there is a high degree of complexity to this area of land tax, and you should always seek expert advice before selling any residential property or embarking on a restructure. Are you a business owner struggling with profit, cash flow, or to find balance between work and life? At Nicole Haig & Associates, we want to help business owners just like you reclaim your freedom. Freedom to spend quality time with loved ones, freedom from stress, and freedom from financial burdens. But how do we do it? It's simple. We listen, we understand, and we create bespoke, structured programs tailored to your unique business and personal goals. With the right education, coaching, and expert advice, we'll show you how to increase profits, improve cash flow, and align your business and personal goals. Don't do it alone. Let NH+A be your guide to success. Work smarter, not harder, with our proven accountability methods. Your freedom starts here. Contact us today. Ever find yourself wondering where all those hours vanish while everyone seems to be living their best life? Well, you're not alone. In this episode of the Accountology Show, we're tackling the age-old question, where does my time go? Today, we're diving headfirst into the whirlwind of time freedom to reclaim those precious moments for the things that truly matter. We'll explore the hidden culprits stealing our time, discover strategies to win back those lost hours, and ultimately carve out a life that's more than just work, work, work. So let's dive right in. You know that feeling when your team has knocked off and you're stuck with a mountain of paperwork taller than Mount Everest? Then that work spills over to your weekend and you can't get off that hamster wheel. Yeah, been there, done that. But guess what? It doesn't have to be your forever story. Let's dive into the roller coaster ride of time management and reclaim those precious moments for the stuff that truly lights up your life. So picture this. It's Friday. The team's clocked off for the weekend and they're heading to the pub. Meanwhile, you're eyeing that never-ending paperwork, knowing it's a date with your desk all weekend long. Then Monday rolls around and you're back to square one. You wake up shattered and you're left wondering, where did all my time vanish? And you're left deciding between keeping the business afloat or spending time with your kids. If you're nodding, feeling like a time-deprived superhero, you're not alone. This struggle is real for business owners. We're juggling more balls than a circus performer, trying to keep our businesses afloat while sneaking in a bit of family time. But let's face it, we can't keep living on autopilot, burning the midnight oil every darn day. It'll only lead us to burnout. There's a lot of busyness in managing your business, especially in a downturned market. So here's some further tips if you're struggling with disruptions, shifting priorities, and frustrating rework. Streamline your processes and boost your efficiency. We all have the same 1,440 minutes each day, and so many tasks to complete in this ever-busy world. But some of us achieve so much more than others in a day. So the question becomes, how can we free up time to help lead a better business and ultimately achieve a happier life? Here's the top 10 time wasters. 1. Lack of clear goals. Start by setting clear 12-month goals, then break these down into 90-day goals. Your action each day should be steps towards achieving those 90-day goals, which will ultimately lead to the achievement of your 12-month goals. Number 2, a messy desk. Desk clutter results in mind clutter. Tidy your workspace each day before you leave so you don't arrive to a mess. Have a place for everything to be stored. It could be a desk tray, a desk planner left on your desk, or beautiful stationery sitting out with other stationery packed in the back drawer. Easy to find when you need it next. Also consider how paperless you are. Paper becomes clutter. Number 3 is procrastination and shifting priorities. Spend a few minutes planning tomorrow's tasks before you leave for the day, or planning today's tasks as soon as you arrive in. Avoid unnecessary pick up and put down. It's so inefficient to get your head back around where you are at. Multitasking is a productivity myth. Number 4 is interruptions, both from humans and technology. Set clear parameters to reduce distractions. For example, turn off your email and phone notifications when working on a job. Only check emails between tasks, etc. If it's urgent, they'll call or tap on your shoulder. Number 5, ineffective delegation and abdication. Ensure you give clear instructions when delegating tasks and empower others to do more for you. Responsibility still falls on you. Without a clear process, you are setting someone up to fail, which will ultimately reflect badly on you. 6 is ineffective systems. So mistakes are often attributable to ineffective systems. Involve your team and lean up processes where possible. Eliminate systems that don't add value and implement new systems that aid efficiency. Number 7 is the inability to say no. We are defined not just by what we say yes to, but what we say no to. Planning helps us to say no to the things that don't align with our purpose and our goals. By the way, no is a complete sentence. Number 8 is ineffective meetings. Meetings just for the sake of meetings. Ensure that every meeting has a purpose, an agenda, and clear objectives. Don't stray from the agenda. Refer back to the purpose if you're going off track. Record clear outcomes and next steps in meeting minutes. Number 9 is ineffective email use. Think twice before playing email tennis. Ask yourself if a phone call would be more efficient so you don't find yourself constantly checking for a reply. And the 10th is poor planning. Effective planning has 3 key components: a one-page plan with goals, KPIs, and required actions, regular reporting to ensure continuous improvement, and accountability. So what are your biggest time wasters? Identify your top 3 and take ownership and responsibility to minimise them today. So how do we crack the code to time freedom and get back to doing the things that matter? First off, let's hit pause and take a long, hard look at our schedule. Is it those endless meetings that could have been emails? We need to take a breath and prioritise. Ask the question, what is important right now? What can we do later? What can we delegate? And what can we delete? When we are flat out in our business, there is no time to sit back and look from the outside in on how our business is performing. Now is our ideal opportunity to take a minute to take stock and reassess not only our priorities, but what we can delegate out and outsource. Especially with high inflation, high interest rates, and the high cost of living, if we are not careful, our businesses will be sucked up in the hype and the doing, and we won't see what we really need to make the changes in our business needed to stay afloat. So here's what we recommend you do. For a week, write down every task that you do and how long it takes, whether it's replying to emails, drafting proposals, answering customer queries, you're on the shop floor, making teas or coffees. It doesn't matter how small it is. The week you choose should be what you would normally classify as a normal week for you. Then add up the end of each day, then at the end of each week, how many hours you've put into these tasks. Now, if we did a wee exercise, and if you were to take your weekly wage or salary, then divide it by the number of hours you have worked that week, I bet that figure ends up being below the minimum wage. So, for example, if you ended up working 70 hours in your business and you divided this by your weekly pay, so let's say you paid yourself $1,000 a week, this ends up being $14.29 per hour. That's way below the minimum wage of $23.15 per hour. But equally, if you were paying yourself, let's say $2,885 per week, this equates to $41.21 per hour. But the question is, what do you charge yourself at? So if you charge yourself out at $100 per hour, for instance, why would you be doing tasks that are $40 or $50 tasks that are below your charge out rate? You need to be outsourcing, delegate, pay someone to do this task and allow you to do the work that is billable or more time off. Once you have your weekly list of tasks to complete, which is representative of your normal week for you, you need to put them into categories. So there's a matrix, and it's called a priority matrix, and it's split into quadrants. Add each of your tasks into the appropriate categories, as I'll explain. The headings along the top are urgent and non-urgent, whilst down the left side are important and not important. So then the top left quadrant is urgent and important. This is our first category, and this is called manage. So this is where you'll put short-term goals. For example, any task that you might be doing with moving your business location. And then you add appropriate tasks such as deadline-driven projects, crises, and problems, and client meetings. The second category is the top right, under not urgent, but important. And this category is focus on. This is where long-term goals, for example, understanding your competition and target market, regulation changes, and then you add appropriate tasks that may include market and competition strategy, relationship building and company development, research into legislative changes, and processes to implement those changes. The third category is the bottom left quadrant under urgent and not important. And this category is delegate. This may include appropriate tasks such as phone calls and emails, background research, your accounting and bookkeeping functions, and meetings with no purpose. And the final category is the bottom right, under not urgent and not important. And this is, you guessed it, delete. Appropriate tasks in here include time wasters, private phone calls, internet surfing, and social media scrolling. If the task is urgent and important, you need to manage it immediately. If the task is not urgent and important, then you need to focus on it and invest time in it. If the task is urgent but not important, you need to delegate this to one of your team or outsource it, such as to a bookkeeper or your accountant. If the task is not urgent and not important, you need to ask the question, can you delete this? So take the time to add all your tasks into the priority matrix. Even if you enjoy doing a task that falls under delegate, still question, should you be doing it if one of your team can do it for a lower rate and possibly quicker than you can? Equally, I'm sure that you think that everything you do is urgent and important, but be objective. This process will list your tasks in order that they become manageable, and you'll be focused and motivated to manage your everyday tasks, allowing you more time freedom. So once we've pinpointed where all our time goes, it's time to set some boundaries and say no to the stuff that doesn't serve you. Delegate like a boss, learn to prioritize like a pro, and watch those hours magically multiply. But hey, it's not all about cutting out everything we enjoy doing. It's equally essential to carve out time in our schedules for those things that do spark joy. Whether it's a quick coffee break with a colleague or a beach stroll with your furry sidekick, dinner out with a loved one, sprinkle those moments of bliss like confetti. And let's not forget the power of technology. We're living in the technological revolution where apps, artificial intelligence, and tools can work wonders in reclaiming our time. From project management apps to time tracking wizards, there's a whole arsenal at our disposal. So why not harness the power of tech to tame the time beast? At the end of the day, reclaiming our time isn't just about squeezing in more tasks into our already bursting schedules. It's about reclaiming our lives one precious moment at a time. Remember, the clock may be ticking, but we're the ones holding the reins. So let's make every second count. I don't think anyone would disagree that we need a life filled with more moments of joy, laughter, and maybe just a hint of chaos. After all, isn't that what makes life truly epic? And there you have it. We've journeyed through the maze of time management, armed with insights and strategies to reclaim our most valuable asset, time. From identifying the sneaky time thieves lurking in our schedules to setting boundaries like the power of saying no, we've learned that reclaiming our time isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity for a life well lived. So let's bid farewell to those endless piles of paperwork and meaningless meetings, and hello to time freedom. Freedom to spend more time with loved ones, freedom to spark more joy and laughter, and freedom to generally take care of your physical, mental well-being. And remember, regretting wasted time is wasting more time. Okay, so 3 action points from today's episode. Number 1, identify your time wasters. Take a close look at your schedule by recording each task you complete in a week, add them to the priority matrix, and pinpoint the activities or tasks that devour your time without adding significant value. Do you need to manage those tasks, focus on them, delegate them, or delete them? Whether it's excessive meetings, mindless scrolling on social media, or inefficient workflows, identify them and plan to minimize their impact on your day. Number 2, set boundaries and prioritize. Establish clear boundaries around your time. Learn to say no to tasks or commitments that don't align with your goals or values. Prioritize your tasks based on importance and urgency, focusing on activities that move the needle forward in your personal and professional life. And number 3 is carve out moments of joy. Life isn't just about work. It's about finding moments of joy and fulfillment amidst the chaos. Schedule regular breaks to recharge and indulge in activities that bring you happiness. Whether it's leisurely walks in nature, quality time with loved ones, or pursuing a hobby you're passionate about. Remember, these moments of joy are essential for maintaining your overall well-being and resilience in the face of challenges. And their aha moment from this episode? The power of reclaiming your time freedom. In a world where busyness is glorified and time seems to slip through our fingers like sand, prioritizing and safeguarding our time becomes paramount. By identifying our time vampires, setting boundaries, and carving out moments of joy, we can create a life that's more balanced, fulfilling, and aligned with our true priorities. Remember, time is our most precious resource, and how we choose to spend it ultimately shapes the story of our lives. So, take charge, reclaim your time, and live each moment with intention and purpose. Thanks for joining us on the Accountology Show. If you have enjoyed today's show, you're in luck because we'll be back next week. You'll find past episodes at plainsfm.org.nz and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to never miss an episode. We would love it if you would leave a 5-star review and tell a friend or business owner who would benefit from hearing our show. We also love hearing from you, so reach out with any comments or a topic you'd like covered, and even suggestions for whom we should get in the studio next for an interview. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. Our handle is NH Plus Associates, that's NHPLUS Associates, or email me, nicole@nh-a.co.nz. But most importantly, thank you for taking the time to listen to the show. Until next time, keep building that business into the empire it absolutely deserves to be.